The 2015 MAVTV 500 at Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California was the 11th round on the calendar of the 2015 IndyCar season. This was the fourth consecutive year that IndyCar would race at the track. However, there were some changes this time. The 3 previous years, this was the finale on the IndyCar schedule, but this year the race was moved to an end of June date and was the 11th race on the calendar. The aero package for the IndyCars was changed in 2015, which led to concerns as soon as the cars hit the track for practice. It became pretty evident that this was going to be a pack-style race, as the cars were going to be bunched together and very hard to get away from one another. This would be the first time that the race would take place like this since the 2011 IZOD IndyCar Championship race at Las Vegas that took the life of Dan Wheldon. No changes were made and the race would go on as scheduled, despite all the concerns. Team Penske teammates Simon Pagenaud and Helio Castroneves would be on the front row to start the race. Before the green flag would even fly, 2 rookie drivers would run into trouble as Gavi Chavez had radio issues, which he needed to get sorted, as well as Stefano Coletti, who also had issues. However, I'm not exactly sure what those issues were, but I think they were communication issues as well with the radio.
The spotters are above us here and the drivers rely on it. This is the MAVTV 500, round 11 of the Verizon IndyCar Series. Simon Pagenaud, for the first time in his career, leads the field to green on an oval. It's plenty of Penske up front, but look at Marco Andretti. He told Robin before his car was almost too good to believe, and he goes straight to the lead. Andretti leads in California. They're sorting themselves out early. Our pole sitters dropped to third. Look at that yellow Penske truck rental car. Pagenaud looking to dive in there. Helio Castroneves is in there. Everybody keen to get to the front early.
Everybody looking racy as Helio makes a move down the inside of Marco. Marco coming back on the draft. Montoya pulling up. Kanan. It's a pack race.
Boy,
this is good stuff.
It really is. And look at Montoya taking them on the right to the top.
3 wide. Look at this. The points leader and Indy 500 winner is in the mix. Now Kanan wants in the action.
Kanan is in the action as well, right alongside Montoya, and they're again 3 wide.
If you wondered if we were going to have a good race today, this is what it's going to be like for 500 miles.
As you could see how wild just the start of the race was there, the cars remain in a big pack. It's pretty much impossible to hold the lead as the draft is just so strong and the track just has so many grooves, which was the beauty about Fontana, but unfortunately we all know that that is coming to an end as they're rebuilding the track into a short track. But this is the kind of racing that you can expect all 500 miles. One thing that was disheartening about this race was looking at the stands and seeing the fans that were actually in attendance for this race, as the crowd was very small and dismal. But the ones that did take a chance going to this race and supporting the IndyCar Series, whether they knew it or not, they were about to witness IndyCar history. Despite the close racing and action throughout the entire pack, the field would make it to the end of their fuel window, and around lap 35, green flag pit stops would begin and take place over the next several laps. A very scary incident would happen during this green flag cycle as Tristan Vautier would come into his pit stall too hot and make contact with one of his crew members. The crew member was awake and alert, but he was transported to the infield care center for further evaluation. As unfortunately in 2015, the Dale Coyne team had very bad luck with crew members getting injured.
And look at the top of your screen. Top of your screen is going to be the front left changer. Just that front wing got him right in the knee.
Yeah, that is not a good situation. More than likely has done some knee damage, maybe possibly a broken leg, but that's a worst case scenario when a guy is on his knees waiting for the car to come to a stop next to him and the front wing collects the guy and just takes it out from underneath him.
At the conclusion of the green flag pit stops, Marco Andretti would be in the lead, but that wouldn't last very long as Juan Pablo Montoya would get by him to take the top spot. The relentless green flag running would continue, and this would result in a second round of green flag pit stops to start on lap 70. As with this lengthy green flag run, it did allow the cars to be spread out just a little bit, but as you can see, there are still quite a few cars within within striking distance of the lead. Helio Castroneves, who was one of the first to come in to start that cycle of green flag pit stops, would find himself in the lead at the conclusion of them. However, he had his teammate Will Power, Tony Kanaan, and Takuma Sato right on his tail, as it was tough for one driver to lead more than a couple of laps at a time, as you were basically a sitting duck as soon as you got out front.
Power down low makes that move on Castroneves, picks up the lead of the race. Castroneves also picks up the toe and drops down low, but look at this, Kanaan taking that high line, going right around the outside, now neck and neck with Power.
The run that Castroneves had on the bottom, man, he just had a phenomenal corner. Was able to gap those guys on the corner, as you see Power pull up on the draft now.
On
Cars
an oval.
almost touching.
On an oval, is it going to be another Penske versus Ganassi war?
As the race hit the lap 100 mark, we saw a total of 33 lead changes up to this point, and the top 8 cars were still within striking distance of the lead. And 7 laps later, the leaders would hit pit road again for their third cycle of green flag pit stops to start the race, as the drivers have done a phenomenal job to this point to give each other just enough space to not cause any incidents. As the race was approaching its halfway point, 115 laps straight of green flag racing and 3 green flag pit stops could not break up the front of the pack, as half the field was still in that lead draft and in contention to take the lead of the race within a couple of laps. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end, as on lap 136, Helio Castroneves, who has had one of the best cars all race long, loses the lead to Graham Rahal, and then unfortunately his race would go south from there.
It's okay. Whoa! Castroneves is gone! Helio spins! Perhaps it was inevitable. Racing this close, this fast, for this long.
He hit the wall on the inside and has damaged the rear bumper. He'll probably have a flat tire in the rear from spinning that long, but he got rounded up by Rahal and then had to check out of the throttle. Kanaan came around the inside, chopped across the front, and then Power was there. He just got swarmed by everybody, and it looked like he just touched Power, I think, and lost the car.
Let's have another look, another angle of this.
Keep your eye on the gold car, Ryan Briscoe.
Ooh! Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
So 3 into 1. It was just one of those awkward situations. Did Briscoe come up a little early? Did Helio just run out of room? Did Power squeeze him down? It's all of that. You can see. Eesh. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, Helio just didn't really have anywhere to go, did he? You know, he just couldn't go to the left, couldn't go to the right. On board Montoya, this is going to show it.
3 cars all fighting for about 8 feet of room, and Montoya very, very lucky there to get by there.
Everyone would come down pit road to take advantage of this caution flag for 4 tires and fuel, and Ryan Briscoe, who was filling in for the injured James Hinchcliffe, would make repairs to that rear wing of his car as he came up into Helio Castroneves, which pushed Helio into Will Power and caused Helio to spin. Ryan Briscoe would be assessed a drive-through penalty due to this contact, as it was deemed avoidable by the officials. Helio would end up going behind the wall into the garage. The team would make repairs and he would return to the racetrack, but his day was ultimately done. Will Power, who won the race off pit road, would lead the field back to the green flag.
All right, ready to get things going again after some 15 laps of yellow. Let's go racing in Fontana, California. Will Power, the reigning series champion, leads the way. But watch that second car of Graham Rahal. He wants to take that Honda to the front.
Boy, he does, and he does in the biggest way as well. He run low, got onto the transmission, tried to pick up the toe, but I think Power has it back.
All right, there's a scramble in the pack, as you can imagine. The guys are ready to get going again. Power on the low line, then Rahal on the inside is one Pablo Montoya.
4 wide, home to the corner. It's like we hit the reset button, and this is the start of the race again.
Look at this. Remember your tire pressures, remember.
Oh, Kanaan and Carpenter.
You've got to be so careful after those laps behind the car.
Ease into it, guys.
Yeah.
We had 130-odd laps. Doing it nicely. And Briscoe, Ryan Briscoe, I can confirm, is getting a penalty for the contact with Helio Castroneves. Paul, I know you disagree with that.
I don't think I agree with that. I think it was just a situation of racing where Castroneves was just backing up into that group of cars. Really nowhere for Ryan to go.
With less than 100 laps to go, the field tightly packed together once again. You know that these guys were going to give and take less and less and less and give each other less room, as everyone was trying to put themselves into the best position to win this race. It took 135 laps for the first yellow flag of the day to come out, but unfortunately it would only take 7 laps for the second one to come out, as teammates Ed Carpenter and Joseph Newgarden make contact coming off of turn number 4.
Oh, here we go. Oh, that's the teammates. Teammates have collided. The CFH teammates are into the wall. Joseph Newgarden, the Toronto and Barber winner, and his owner and teammate Ed Carpenter.
He gets the air cut off of him, and the front end just took off there. Yeah, so he had Montoya come across the nose. The front end started to slide, and his teammate was there on the outside of him in the pack.
As this accident was happening on track, Elio Castroneves pulled his car to the garage and would officially retire from the race. During this yellow flag, we would see some split strategy, as some drivers would hit pit road, including Will Power, while others would stay on the racetrack. This putting Carlos Munoz in the lead of the race for the restart.
Ready to go racing again. It's Andretti, teammates at the front. Carlos Munoz, Marco Andretti. Green flag flies here at Fontana. Let's go. The teammates wheel to wheel.
Marco wants to be back in the lead. These two need to really work together and try to stretch it out on the rest of this pack, but Marco wants the lead again.
Into the second caution period done, and here it comes. The pack is grouping, the pack is together again, and Canaan goes the high side in the NTT Data Chevrolet for Chip Ganassi Racing. Remember, he won at the very last race here last year. Canaan loves this track. He could be the favorite again today.
The field would once again make it to its green flag pit window, and on lap 188, some of the leaders were on pit road. Graham Rahal, who was making a routine pit stop, unfortunately brought something with him as he left his box, as part of the fuel hose was still attached to the car, and he would bring that out onto the racetrack. For some reason, Graham's fuel man, who removed the hose from the race car, tried to put it back in, and Graham took off and took a piece of that hose with him. The officials tried to let the green flag pit stop cycle through before throwing the yellow, as that fuel buckeye did fall off on the racetrack. However, it was down on the apron and off of the racing surface, but still needed to be removed. Now, one would think that that would be a drive-through penalty for Graham Rahal for taking equipment out of the box, correct? Well, actually no. IndyCar officials decided to come up with a penalty for Graham Rahal and his team after the race, which is just kind of puzzling because it should have just been a simple drive-through penalty. Several drivers took this opportunity to come into the pits and top up with fuel, and Marco Andretti would lead the field back to green.
Ready to go back to racing after our third full course caution. Green flies, and out in front is Marco Andretti.
Look at Charlie. He's been nowhere all day, and now he's coming down the inside here, moving his way forward. He's a guy that loves this side-by-side racing.
That's the green and blue car there, the Novo Nordisk Levermeer car. One of the squad of Chip Ganassi racing cars. Look at Ryan Hunter-Ray on the outside in the yellow machine for Andretti Autosport running high. Down low it's Marco Andretti, then Will Power, Juan Pablo Montoya, Ryan Briscoe's in the background. Scott Dixon is still very much in the mix.
Watching these cars go around here, it's like staged acrobatic flying, but nobody seems to know what the other guy's going to do. They're not on the radio with each other. It's just like mad chaos.
You could certainly feel the intensity level start to pick up as the laps wind down, but the caution would come out once again on lap 221 when Carlos Munoz lost a rear bumper piece after contact with Scott Dixon on the back straightaway.
Here we go, there's going to be contact between he and Scott Dixon. Is it? No?
Came up in front of him and Dixon cut down.
Oh, there it
and
is.
took the bumper with him, and that will probably have caused some damage to Dixon's front wing as well.
During this yellow flag, the NBC broadcast booth got the opportunity to speak to the president of competition for the IndyCar Series, Derek Walker, regarding the Graham Rahal situation.
Yeah, exactly. The stewards looked at that and they considered that it was a post-race penalty. It certainly looked pretty scary there, but it's going to be reviewed and there will be a penalty coming, I can assure you. They just didn't levy a penalty that affected the competition on track.
Let me be the first to say that that explanation kind of makes no sense at all, seeing it did affect competition because it brought out a yellow flag on the racetrack. So once again, IndyCar just proving that their officiating is pretty bizarre. You guys have to let me know in the comments down below if you're on the same page as me with this one. Will Power would win the race off pit road and he would lead the field to green with 23 laps to go.
Will Power, the reigning #1 in IndyCar, will see that green flag first, but he's got a couple of very fast Hondas hunting him down. Andretti and Rahal, here they come.
Two Hondas wanting to get around the Chevy of Power. Could this be Honda's day? They've been struggling so far this year, only have 1 win or 2 wins on the board, and they are looking for this big super speedway win.
Kanaan down low, look at that blue car there. Rahal up high, Kanaan up high. This is awesome, no more fuel needed, no more tyres needed. This is a raw, flat out race to the checkered flag. Marco Andretti takes the low line now.
Protect those tyres,
Look at
protect those
Montoya.
tyres.
Look at Montoya.
The Indy
Nowhere to
500
go.
winner wants the action. And Simon Pagenaud right around the outside. The pole sitter, the new Penske man. He wants to win for the captain here in California.
The speed's not there, Lee. The speed is not there at that line. You've got to get down. It's down inside. Look at him now. Look at Will Power running down very low.
The next 14 laps would be absolutely insane, and with 10 laps to go, everything would change for some of the front runners.
Briscoe now. Oh, they draw.
Oh!
Oh, there it goes. It's a big one. Oh, and it's Takuma Sato and Will Power inside the final 10 laps.
I think this will end the race under yellow, or if they don't red flag this, because that will take a little while to clean up.
Thankfully, both drivers were all right from this incident, but Will Power was visibly heated from this, as he definitely had a car that was capable of winning this race. And as he exited the car, he got grabbed by one of the IndyCar officials. Will did not like this and decided to push the official off of him, which in my personal opinion, it's probably not the best to grab a driver like that when they're visibly heated. Gotta let them cool off for a minute or two. But those actions by Will Power would land him a $25,000 fine and probation for the rest of the 2015 IndyCar season.
They're not only fatigued, they're a little bit
Looks like-
dazed. This was
Looks
a big
like
hit.
Sato got loose, big correction, and just sliding up the track, and then Dixon, they touch, he bounce, pinball, and that's it.
And folks, we reiterate the point. This is in excess of 200 miles per hour.
Just got the rear of the car loose, didn't he, old Sato?
Yeah, he's sliding
is.
there, comes down the track now. Dixon's coming up, he bounces, and that's, I mean, there's no room there.
Hey, I mean, that, to me, that is racing. I mean, that's just eventually, as you said, PT, that's what's going to happen. At these speeds.
Oh, that was a hard hit by Sato too.
Yeah, these speeds.
Much harder than Power's hit, because he turned sideways, and look at that. That was a hard hit. And all credit to IndyCar, because that was at about 215 miles an hour going backwards, and the car didn't lift off the ground.
Many people thought that that was going to be it, and this race was going to end under caution, but that would not be the case, as the IndyCar officials elected to throw the red flag to try to finish this one under green. Some drivers elected to make a last-minute pit stop to take some fresh tires for this restart, but Graham Rahal would lead Ryan Briscoe back to the green flag with only 3 laps remaining.
At the front of this field is third-generation racer Graham Rahal, who will see the green flag first. He's got a hungry pack behind, and the first one in the line is Ryan Briscoe. Here come the guys on those new tires at the back. Keep an eye on them. I think Sage Karam got the best run.
Yeah, he definitely got a run. He was going when they waved the green. He was already up to speed. But look at Kanaan coming through the middle.
Montoya down low, Kanaan there. Briscoe high. They dive for that inside line.
Briscoe knows where he needs to
Rahal. Come on, Rahal. Hold that bottom. Don't let him take it away from you. He's going to get a little help. They're 3 wide behind. But look at Sage Karam with the fresh tires and the momentum.
2 laps to go from here. 4 miles will inside this race. Up high is Marco Andretti and Sage Karam. Here they come. Andretti was one of those ones on fresh tires.
Fresh tires, momentum off of the restart. They were up and running and up to speed when they caught the lead group. Andretti coming on the high side, cutting to the bottom.
Watch this, down low, and Rahal closes the door.
That's where you've got to be, Marco. That's where you've got to be. You've got those fresh tyres, but not in the middle of the track. You've got to dive down low. You've seen what Briscoe could have done.
This is it. One lap. Oh, there goes Ryan Hunter-Reay and Ryan Briscoe, and Briscoe flies. Briscoe flips and flies. On the grass, the two Ryans came together. And that's a very abrupt end to what was a terrific day for Ryan Briscoe. He gives both thumbs up, which is a good sign. That was wild.
I think, yes, Graham Rahal.
I think you kind of knew on a restart like that with racing like this that something bad was going to happen, and unfortunately Ryan Briscoe and Ryan Hunter-Reay made contact. Ryan Briscoe got airborne and that nose really dug into the grass and he flipped violently, but thankfully he was okay. That was a very scary incident, and Graham Rahal, who managed to lead the final 10 laps of this race, would come back around and he would score the victory. And you got to go back to that pit road incident that Graham had. If he had a drive-through penalty, he might not have won this race. But Graham would get a post-race penalty, as his team was fined $10,000, with 5 of that being suspended for leaving his pit stall with a part of the fuel hose.
And here it is.
Two cars here. They just start bouncing off of each other here. Hunter-Reay was going for a gap. It closed, and he came down into Brian, and the grass just caught the car and just flipped it violently.
And very shortly thereafter, Ryan Briscoe gives the double thumbs up. Watch this, just a gap that closed again. It's Karam coming down, Hunter-Reay in the middle, and Ryan Briscoe, just the innocent bystander there down on the inside, and that nose just dove in like a dart into the grass.
Absolutely.
And flipped Briscoe. So again, similar to the Power and Sato incident, a lucky escape for both the Ryans, Hunter-Reay and Briscoe.
Oh, that was just intense, very violent crash. And it just goes to show you how safe these cars are.
As Graham Rahal goes to victory lane, this race would hold the IndyCar record of 80 total lead changes, which is absolutely insane, as more than half the field got a chance to lead at least one lap. Some people consider this to be the best IndyCar race of all time, but for others that is definitely not the case. Let me know down in the comments below how you feel about this one. That's going to do it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you like IndyCar history, make sure to subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you want to interact with me, you could follow me on social media, and I hope to see you guys in my next one next week. That's all for now. Take care, everyone.